This is my latest creation I've been working on. It's a prototype of another one that I wanted to build, but I wanted sort of to work out all of my angles and things first and make sure that it worked good. So I simply used some Baltic birch plywood to make this, and cut each layer is comprised of 8 different staves. And I brought the my cutting list with me just to anybody wanted to look. Like if you got easy ways to set your saw that maybe I don't know, you can let me know, that might help too. But the first row has a miter angle of 9.27 degrees. And it also has a blade tilt of 20.59 degrees. And I do have some digital protractors and stuff like that, or the tilt box for the blade. But you know, you get to the point where it's 20.3 or 20.4, and you know, you can't get that in between setting without a little bit of trial and error. So sometimes that's basically what I'll do, is I'll cut some strips of MDF at the same time and just run that through first to see how it goes together, and make some necessary adjustments to either the tilt or the miter angle to go together closer. A lot of times, instead of gluing it all, I sort of never get it perfect so I can just glue it in one piece. I'll do it in 2 halves, and then just touch them on the disc sander to get them flattened out to glue them together. But you have to be very, very close with your angles, otherwise it can affect how the pattern develops around it. If one side's, if the ring's sort of a little wider on one side, then it's got to cut away more material, so it's going to change the pattern. So a little bit of trial and error to get it as close as possible, and unfortunately each layer you go up, you know, the next layer, instead of being 9.27, is 6.73 and 21.52 degrees. So you got to do this for each layer as you go to get it to work out. But
so I suppose the 6.75 does not quite work.
Ironically, I kind of don't argue with the angles and the math that this produces. But if you put it off by like 0.2 or 0.3, and then you go around with 8 sides, which is 16 cuts, that can add up quite a bit, quite fast. If it's off 2 or 3 degrees, then that can make quite a difference, actually. So, anyways, that's what it. I use a trans tint red to color it, and then it's just finished with some Minwax antique oil, basically, and probably 6 or 8 coats to get it nice and smooth. Then I use my Beal Buff just to go over it and shine it up a bit.
Is that a water-based dye, or I'm not familiar with that?
It's either way. It can be mixed with alcohol, or it can be mixed with water.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of good that way. I've only ever tried mixing it with water. I haven't tried.
You ever tried giving up your 25-year-old Scotch?
No, exactly. No, that's too much sugar. Yeah, exactly.
Is each layer the same number of segments?
Glenn?
Sorry?
Is there the same number of segments in each layer?
There is 8 segments per layer. That's it. Anybody got questions?
Okay, here's a question. Are you doing penance for some horrible sin to do that?
Not bad, actually.
Yeah, you started talking to me a few years ago.
I see. Yeah.
You know, if you had a $400 check on it, you probably, where to get those? You probably want to
Excellent.
somewhere, yeah.
Okay, mine's not a show and tell, it's a show and ask, which some people have heard. There's a nice bowl in here somewhere, but there's some cracks starting to form, radial cracks coming off the center.
I'm in Halifax, I'll call you back, okay?
So this is where I need some expertise. How do I save this piece of wood nicely and neatly? I'll throw my idea, I want to hear from you. I've got a real punky center here, so I was going to drill that out and fill it with maybe a colored
I
epoxy.
understand that, yeah.
My other thought was then to turn it over and put it on a jig and run it through my table saw and catch all the cracks. Use the same color epoxy to fill that in. So that's my crazy off-the-wall method.
You can cut butter.
Can you
Have
turn
you
it-
guys seen this? I think a lot of people took a quick look at it before, but if you wanna,
Turn it so we can see it, Cameron.
Yeah, we can zoom in on it here for you.
that's a really pretty piece of wood. I think there's a nice bowl in here somewhere. Any
Why
ideas?
can't you just fill it with CA glue, the white stuff?
As I go, you mean, just keep doing it.
And if you wanna get colors in it, get the black stuff and put it in. The black CA glue.
I'd whack the CA glue to it.
Yeah, that'll work out. Nice, something to think about. I'm playing with epoxies too, so that's why I threw that idea.
Epoxy, get too much air in. Try to put epoxy in it. I put
Thin
epoxy.
CA.
Anybody find a friend with a pressure pot?
Thin CA.
Yeah,
You could also mix it with the same sanding dust or contrasting dust like a walnut to get a darker color with the CA.
I suck all my dust away. I don't have any left.
Yeah.
I collected right at the source, so I don't breathe it or anything.
I had a crack like this in a beautiful bowl. And you know what I did? I mixed dust like bronze with epoxy. And I filled the crack with that and then I refinished. And it turned out very well actually because it looked like the
So it's
piece
like
of,
a bronze.
yeah, it looked like gold.
The other option, go to a key shop and get the farms where we cut the keys out. Dump that into the CA glue.
Make your own.
Just brass key body.
Just dump the farming into
So the epoxy seal to keep it from.
I've been turning pens for a long time, mostly doing the slim lines, Parkers, Mont Blancs. Anyway, just before Christmas, I decided I'd move up in the world of the very expensive kits that Penn State sells. And I got the dog clip pen, and I actually made 6 of them before Christmas for Christmas gifts. And then a bunch of people saw them on my Facebook pages, and I ended up having to order a whole bunch right after Christmas. And this is the last one out of 6. I
You
sold
turn
them.
your hand so the camera can pick it up.
Yeah,
There we go, great.
here we go. So that's the last of the 6 I had made after Christmas. I've also moved into the fancier dragon pens and fantasy ones. I have a friend who owns a comic book and fantasy store. And he said he'd take them in commission. I've already sold one to somebody who saw one on my Facebook page. This is the antique brass fittings with the blue Buckeye burl. And then I did one in acrylic. This is green marble acrylic. There we go. And that's in the pewter. And there's a copper dragon at home. You can get it finished tonight. It's in Thuya burl, which really turned out nicely. Just has to be the finishing cyano acrylic coats on it and polished up. But I've been kind of sick for the last couple of days, so I didn't get it done. On Saturday, my friend with the comic store, when he told me he'll take a bunch more of these, I ordered the Knight pen, the Phoenix Rising pen, and the Pirate pen. So next month, I might have 3 more different ones for people to take a look at. But
Do you mind?
what?
Can we ask how much you get for them?
I'm getting $70, but there's $48 in kit, materials, and stuff like that in them. So
So you $20.
I make about $20. Takes me 45 minutes to make one, so it's not too bad. These, the wood ones, I'm finishing them with the cyan acrylic. So I build up layers of cyan acrylic glue and then polish it. The acrylics and plastic ones, I sand them to 600 grit and then I go to a diamond powder with just a cotton cloth and polish it up. And then I finish it with turtle wax polished chrome polish paste, and that gives me the glass finish I want. So it's
get a picture of you holding one of your hands.
Did you look at that?
That's not flower.
I haven't yet.
That's not flower.